Go. Nah,
Easy.
bro. I never fell asleep in class. That was one thing I was always really good about. I never fell asleep or dozed off in class, no matter how boring as shit it was.
LMAO.
I was always a good student, or at least I tried to be. Either I hated class or loved it.
Interesting. Okay, can you see my screen?
Mm, let's see. Yeah, I can.
Okay, so this guy's P4, P3 player. He wanted me to VOD review this game, so I mean, he just got carried, but let's just see how much we can flame him on what to do better.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Oh, I need
Bro,
pen.
hopefully your lecturing won't let me fall asleep.
True. Let's get the pen out.
Oh shit, he's getting a pen out.
Okay. Let's go. Boost side only. Cool. Speed up. Game.
Welcome to Summoner's
Ward
Rift.
push or check it to make sure they're not invading or stacking. He's
30
just
seconds
watching.
until minions spawn.
He needs to go out way farther out to here because this isn't enough vision. They can just stack here and come this way. They need to be dead. So he needs to walk out. It's either that or
Minions have
let's trinket.
spawned.
And then this would provide vision. I mean, you see just now, like, they just invaded right here, right? So, I mean, he's just not in the right... Well, he's in an okay spot, but it's not that good. Jungler starting top, okay. This is fine. Get to the laning phase. What the fuck is he doing? Just auto-attack the melees, it's fine. Just, you're here first, get priority. Get your wave priority. For whatever pokes you can. Okay, walk up. They're missing CS. You also have a trinket, so you could ward the Metal Brush. This will give you vision of where Rel is at, so you can poke her out. This guy gave up level 2 priority. So, this is a mistake right here that my friend did. He gets to lane first. And then he gives up level 2. So Digii, when you're watching this, I'm gonna call you out. For level 2 in bottom lane, it's equal to 1 wave plus 3 melees, right? It's not that hard to remember. You had level 2 priority here, you could have gone it and you could have played aggressively and walked up. What you just did here is basically just giving up all the priority you had. Meaning you're playing for a coin flip now, or not entirely coin flip, but you're coin flipping the lane by playing passive, right? So because you're playing passive now, you're not really making anything happen, and so you're not fighting. When you had the advantage, you could have won, and there was a possibility you could have double killed as well. You do have double sum advantage of both exhaust and ignite, so from there it's just mechanics of playing better. Right? But because you give up level 2, now you're just coin flipping and playing for jungle. Playing for jungle and farm over playing aggressively. And I should probably use a different color. Winning yourself. You're not winning yourself, the game yourself, by playing like this, by giving up level 2, Digii. So this is a mistake. You could have easily just gone level 2 and you could have just traded and all in them, and you guys would have won had you guys executed correctly. So that's a mistake. Moving on. You're also sitting on a trinket. So right now in the state of the lane, okay, you put this trinket here, I'll put it out here instead, because this would provide way more vision of the surrounding area. They're just gonna shove. You let them shove, get over whatever minion you can without getting poked out. You get this one for free with your Q up. So you missed that one. Okay, that's fine. Let them shove. Yes, let them shove. Okay, they have lane priority. They have bot lane priority. Your jungle has no pressure now.
First blood.
Because you have no priority in bottom lane, right? So your line of pressure is up to here.
It's just you and me, Book.
This is as far as your pressure goes. Your jungler cannot do anything now. You see your jungler is kind of inting. They're going for either mid or scuttle here. And then, okay, we see Hecarim top now. So your jungler can go for scuttle, right? But then this is dangerous because you don't have the priority. And your jungler is trying to invade or go for scuttle now. And we don't know where the enemy bottom lane. Okay, we see them in lane now. But then we didn't know because they're Mia, right? Your Yumi's pinging. You're not pinging at all.
I have the best game in the
You're just
first round.
seeding everything here. Now your jungler can come and gank after getting the scuttle, but you put her in such a dangerous position by not having lane priority and not putting the lane yourself. You're playing for jungler now instead of yourself. And you guys can fight here. You guys go in. Yes, kill. Not that hard. Yep. Kill that. Okay. Back out. Shove in the wave. Just shove in and hard shove and reset. Or look to play aggressive. Actually, no. I take that back. You do look to play aggressive here. Look to play aggro on Swain if he walks up. The reason why I said to just shove is because you want to get a reset after getting kill, but because Vayne has no wave clear, right? There's a wave incoming, so you can just let that come and slow push. So you slow push instead, and then you shove in this fat wave under tower, and then you can get a clean reset off afterwards. Clean reset, and then you back, and then you have a lot of gold. You can get your Noon Quiver, but then you're not really pressuring him. You want to be farther up here and slow pushing, and you're missing minions too, and also mid lane is MIA, so you have to be cautious of that. And then we know Hecarim was just top, so Hecarim's most likely packing down bottom. So we really need to shove now that the wave is here, and you're not doing this. You're taking way too long to shove. And now the wave is pretty thin now. So Rella's back and she's just gonna pressure you. She's gonna get a ward and she's just gonna pressure you. And you're not gonna get a reset. Right? And your Yumi's in there. You know, the only reason why your Yumi's in there is because you didn't shove in properly. So you had full control over this. And you waste flash here. And you're also low. No mob. And Swain has nothing. We know Hecarim's bottom side. You're just in a dangerous position because you didn't shove. And Hecarim's coming. That's crazy. It's almost like I said he was going to come. And you died from it. So does your Yumi. So that major mistake as to leading up to all of this happening of you inting is that you gotta kill bottom. You gotta kill. And the next thing you need to realize is we have a sizable amount of gold. So the next plan of action is getting a clean reset. Because if we can get a clean reset, then we can come back to lane, return with items, and pressure enemy bot. Because it's either they get a reset as well, because all they would have to do is hard shove it, and then your options is either to freeze here if you get back to lane in time, or if they walk up, you can kill with item advantage. If this makes any sense. Because after you hard shove a medium to large size wave, your next plan of action is to reset, buy your items, come back to lane. The enemy either has to shove out that wave and reset, and then that wave is gonna slow push into you. So had you shoved out the wave around here, and then it would have crashed, that wave would have bounced back to here and sat in the middle, and then it would be slow pushing to you. It's either the enemy team does that while they get a reset, or they have to hard shove it. They have to slow push it into a big wave. Because they don't have enough mana. And then they need their jungler to come. What they need is their jungler to come, help shove. Enemy jungle. So that's what Hecarim needs to do to help their team come back. That's their game plan. So we realize that our game plan is to just shove, reset, come back to lane in time. If Hecarim doesn't help at all, they're stuck in a losing game scenario. Because they're either gonna... What's going to happen is they either miss CS or overstay. So you're in a winning position if you hard shove it after the second wave that was incoming after getting a kill. And we know Hecarim was top. So his next like safest line of travel is to go bottom and to just gank you. And the reason being is because Fira is under tower. So it doesn't make any sense for Hecarim to path top where he doesn't have any camps at all. And he would have to dive, right? So his best option is to come bottom. And you let him do that for free. And so you die here. And you bait your Yuumi into dying too. Moving on. Okay, they played the dragon. It's gonna take them a while. But it gives them tempo to scale in case like something goes wrong. Your best course of option here is to just slow push. The reason being is because you want to create a big wave for pressure. Plus, oh, that's going haywire. Enemy jungle is MIA. His best line of action right now is to reset, but you just want to have pressure in case he does come back bottom. Having a bigger wave makes it harder for the enemy junglers to gank. So you create pressure by slow pushing. And that's your game plan right now. And if you slow push a big enough wave and you see there's a play happening mid, what you can do is also to just rotate for the play as well. So slow pushing is the correct play here because it gives you options. You don't even properly stop those minions from crashing. And then we see Rel, right? She's roaming mid after the dragon. And that's just because you guys had no pressure and it was due to the mistake from earlier before. You have to ping this. You have to ping MIA. And you just... Because you never know if they're actually going to reset or anything too. If I look in chat right now, there's only one ping from me. That's not enough. You need to ping at least 3 times. Because nobody has ears in these elos. Three pings. 2+, if anything. You just need to ping and communicate with your team. We see Rel, she's mid. Slow push. Wait for Swain to come back. Not much you can do. You have wards? You don't have a ward. That's fine. Your Yumi's sitting on wards. She needs to be warding, but okay, we don't care about her because she's not you. Okay, there's a play mid. Flag gets a kill. She's gonna die to... No, she doesn't die. Okay, that's cool. It's great. Cool. Slow push. Okay, she's getting a ward out now. Oh. Camera flickered. You have to be very careful. Because now we know Hecarim and Rel just left mid. We can't exactly make a play on them. So our best course of action here is because if we know they're coming down bot, and we're not really safe with anything that's going on. Also, let's just see, you have a decent amount of gold. We just have to be very careful and slow push. Or our best option here is to... We were slow pushing at first. We have a sizable wave. We don't know where they're at. Hecarim could be coming well. So we can just fast push this. And get more vision. Because your Yuumi has wards, and so do you. You have a red trinket. Or you could get a reset if you really wanted to. You just have too little information to work with. So, your Yuumi's trying to get some vision too, right? So, okay, we slow push. That's fine. Okay, now the wave's gonna be super close to tower. And now we hard shove this. This wave is super close to the tower. It's going to merge. This wave that's incoming is going to merge, and it's going to become a really big wave. So you need to hard shove this, because if you're overextended like this, by the way, this ward will not give you any vision of Hecarim, because he will come zooming down bottom lane. This ward is not good enough. So you need to hard shove this wave, and then you need to see what's going on the map. And you're not doing that. You're letting the Swain clean up the wave that you so desperately tried to create. And now you don't even have a big wave anymore. And your team is making a play mid as well. And we still have no idea what Hecarim's at. He should be top side mid, but you never know, right? Your team is making a play. And he could have appeared there. And he could have killed the LeBlanc. Since you guys weren't able to get any vision at all, you guys just have to play back. This ward is wrong. Get the ward deeper out here so that it could provide more vision. Again, your ward placements is important. And now you just have to play back because you don't know where Hecarim's at, and you know that Rel can just engage. So you just have to play overly safe. But at this point, you're coin flipping. Because what this is you're coin flipping. You're just coin flipping at this point. Because again, as I'm saying, you're coin flipping the lane by farming. And although you can farm and scale up, you're not exactly winning the game, right? Because you're playing for late. You're playing for late game instead. You also have no bottom lane priority because of this. And although your jungler's top lane right now, so you don't need the priority, in the last couple of minutes, you've pretty much the entire game of 8 minutes now, you've had no bottom prio. So your jungler is very limited by the options she can do. And looking at her camps, they're all up. So your jungler is making a play top. You just have to chill because you didn't play aggressively at all, and then you got caught. So all you have to do is just farm. That's your only option at this point. And now we see Hecarim top because we're not fed. We can't even fight. So our best option right now is to just farm up and scale. That's all we can do at this point. And it's just coin flipping because unless you can secure every single CS, which it looks like you're not, you have 60 and 90 minutes, meaning you've missed approximately 30-ish times. And yes, this is a good engage because Rel, you needed to commit to this. Okay, this is really good because what ends up happening is your Rel leaves, right? So it's a 2v1 in this lane. Both you and Yuumi just have to converge on the Swain if the Swain stays this far up. And you guys have Ignite and Exhaust. And you have Ultimate. So all you would have to do is get into a good position after stunning him, condemning. You kill the Swain. The Rel will come back. And then you kill her afterwards. So this is the free double kill right here. That Yuumi saw. And you didn't commit to this. So there's a lack of commitment. Commitment and mechanics. You're not trusting your mechanics at all. And then in this case, you're not playing to improve. Because you're not testing your boundaries. Your boundaries on correct plays. Because if you make the right macro choice, the remaining thing is just execution, right? So even if you mess up execution, your macro would have been correct here to go in and double kill. But because it looks like you're not even committing to this, you don't get a free advantage that you should have been able to have. Okay, Rel is away. Yes, you go in here. Yes. There's no pings from both you or the Yuumi whatsoever, which makes it really hard. And you should be focusing on the Swain. He is so much closer than you than Rel. Don't focus the Rel. The Swain is super low, and he's ignited. Just kill him. You miss a kill opportunity here. That was super easy. You could have killed the Swain much earlier. Oh, and you guys mess up the execution now. Well, again, like I said, at this point, if you commit to the correct macro play, which is the double kill here, the remaining factor is execution. And at that point, that's mechanics, mouse clicking, positioning. These are niche stuff. These are very niche. These will improve over time as you play more. However, if you're not forcing improving your mechanics, then they will never get better. Yeah, so over here you had a free double kill. The only remaining factor was knowing that you could go in. And then execution. And you executed very poorly. So you die here, and then Galio comes down and double kills you too. But the play to go in here was correct. It was just execution that was poorly played. And you're only missing a wave for that execution had you done it correctly, which is very worth because you get 2 kills, which is worth so much more. But now you just put yourself in this really terrible spot because of your poor execution as well. So here we see that jungler is top, and honestly the wave is in the middle, so we just chill and keep the wave in the middle as well. We see Swain is, or Rel is at top. So going in on the Swain is correct here. So this was good from you. However, you overextended. And honestly, you can go in. You can still go in. Execution, again, could have been clean. From here, you fast push. And this should be obvious. Because you just tried to dive the Swain, right? Honestly, you didn't need to commit under tower. You needed to just back off after poking him and then just commit to fast pushing. Because we know the entire enemy team was top. But now we can't even commit to this because you messed up the fast push. Well, it works out, but you should not have died here if your execution was cleaner. So you need better, cleaner execution. how to set up execution for success. And then just keep practicing. I'm just being really harsh on you because I know you personally and because I'm also a Vayne main. So seeing as another Vayne player playing the execution very poorly, I'm going to be very harsh on you, right? But cleaner execution, you need to learn wave management. You need to learn to play more aggressively. In most matchups, Vayne has a very dominant early game. Especially if you get level 2 first. But the way you played this game is that you gave up level 2. And this is the problem with majority of other Vayne players too. Everybody thinks Vayne is just a scaling champion, but that's wrong. The reality of it is that Vayne has a very strong early game, and Vayne is a very strong champion, especially right now in Season 11. She's been S plus tier for the entire season, especially with the item reworks. Vayne is really strong, even early game, so you need to learn how to play more aggressively. And you also need to ping more. That's another thing. It seems like your minimap awareness is okay enough. Minimap, okay. What else is there? You need to ping more. Your minimap is decent enough. Your minimap awareness is decent enough. Already touched on wave and macro and execution. Oh, ward placement. Learn ward placement, please. Because ADC is the role that requires the most macro, right? Macro-based role. And by macro, you also need vision. So to have vision, you need good ward placement. Which will get you better macro. Plus tempo. Which will let you have easier games. Because better vision. And then from there you get to execution wise. It'll improve execution too, because having all of this, better macro and everything, and being led up to the correct choices in games will allow you to limit test your execution and improve. And then this will improve mechanics at the very end. But first you have to get your macro right. Because there are so many free opportunities, you should have been on this lane. A very dominant 4 parts, where it was like 2 minutes something, where you get level 2, engaging on Swain solo with Yumi when Rel left. There was another part before that, which was Vi ganked. So you shove. And then there was this play right here, where you dove. Rel is at top. And enemy jungle as well. Kill Swain. Simple as that. But now your Yumi's dead. Because of poor execution from you, right? And that's not your Yumi's fault, that's yours. So you're to blame for, like, this game being hard. Okay, hurry up, buy your items. It's fine. Kraken is definitely the go-to character this game, in my opinion.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Just position properly, better, have better mechanics, improve upon those stuff. Not having wave priority, your Vi really cannot be here. But at the same time, you need to be rotating. Okay, here's when you needed to rotate, because you see Vi's trying to make a play, right? And the thing is, your team is not losing. Your team is fed. If you look at your team right now, your Vi is fed, your Fiora is fed, and your LeBlanc is okay. She's okay. And you're Vayne. So you're always strong. Meaning, you need to pull this wave up while you're walking and pressuring and to be at the play. Because your Vi's trying to make a play here and you can all play it right here. But that's not what's happening. Like, look at your Vi. She's solely and then your LeBlanc has to come. And that's fine. The play's over. And then you just go back bottom. Just go back bottom and get the wave. That's perfectly fine. Your LeBlanc is doing whatever. Okay, you look. That's fine. You rotate up. It's fine. You can kill now. This is good. So you made the right macro choices. Now you just need to kill them. Next team. Yes, kill Galio. Could have been cleaner.
Blue team
You're
double
going to
kill.
miss that wave. If he had pulled it out better, it would have been cleaner. Just get the mid lane. You're over chasing for this. Just get the mid lane farm. You need to realize things that you can and cannot kill, and that'll come with experience. With limit testing too. But because you have now you're getting killed by Hecarim, right? But this is only because you had Dove. You had over Dove, over Chase, and Dove, which made you low. And now Hecarim is coming to kill your ass, right? I mean, just to look at this, you're kind of griefing, but that's fine. I condone limit testing. I do condone limit testing. It's fine to limit test. It's fine to test your limits and improve. So long as you're doing it to improve and win, it's okay. But don't do out of range. And then you guys play for Dragon. You guys are fed, and you guys get this. This is good. You guys shove in. Your team is communicating. You guys get Dragon. This is fine. Just do it. Do a super quick, and then you can go down. Well, that wave's going to kill. So you just base. You guys fight here too. Yeah. Keep fighting. Play more aggressively. Walk up. Okay. Good Q. Okay. Good dodge. Walk up. Okay. Where's Skrilla? Tell her to come. You can walk up. You can walk up. You're fine. You're safe. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, you can walk up. You could focus your targets better. If anything. Your mechanics, dodging skill shots and everything, and positioning was very well done there. The only issue I have is that you needed to kill your targets by clicking on them properly, and you did not do that. You're fine. Getting the dragon here is more priority. Your Fiora is flanking or blocking their path. You get this, you reset. Good enough. You can also get the bottom wave, but Swain is going to be here. I would much rather prefer you had reset, because you would be able to force Swain to walk up in this lane, and then you could have based with a huge purchase. Oh, you got Kraken here. Well, you could have reset is the thing, but now you don't have a reset opportunity. That's the most important thing I want you to like realize is your timing and windows for reset. Opportunities for reset. Right after the dragon was the perfect opportunity because Swain is on his way down and you have a lot of gold. Well, a decent amount of gold from winning the fight, right? If you don't reset, you're not able to spend this gold and you're not getting any stronger. So if you don't reset like you are here, you're still the same as before. Meaning you're not stronger, they can just dive your ass if they execute it correctly. But if you had reset, right, you would be back in lane with items, new items, which means you're stronger because that's how ADC works. It's not like other champions. ADC's damage is correlated to the amount of items they have. So you need to spend your items. You need to spend your gold on items. Right? So you would be back here and they wouldn't be diving you. And even if they were diving you, you'd have abilities up right now. They're coming up. Right? So then you'd be stronger and you'd possibly you'd be able to 2v3 if you had reset at dragon. But because you had missed that window of opportunity to shove instead, you cannot reset now and they're looking on a dive. And if you get out of this by some miracle, it would be by having Korean challenger mechanics. And now you have to give up the tower, right? Because, well, you just have to be extremely careful. Okay, we see Galio's rotating mid and you can walk up the game. That's good. That's good. You have the minimap awareness. Good enough. But you can't reset, which is the issue. Right?
Red team's turret has been
We
destroyed.
need to reset so that we can spend our gold so we can get our Kraken Slayer. And then build into our Gwynsu's or PD. Depends on the build you go. But now the enemy Swain gets, and Rel gets to rotate. And you should have gone in for the kill. So you can kill here, right? But yes, you can kill. You can kill. You definitely could have killed. You could have killed here. So
I am totally doing
here
this.
is just mechanics. Because what happened is that you flashed backwards. This is wrong. But you could have killed here with better mechanics. Plus, if you had reset again earlier at the Dragon Pit, you would have better items, right? If you have better items, that means you're stronger. And so if they were to do something like this, your chances of winning 2v2 is higher. Plus, again, your Yuumi has ult and double sums. You really need to take into realization your support. Although most of the times, you don't have to think about like what your support has, aside from Ignite and their abilities. You have to realize as Yuumi, having a Yuumi support, you can play so much more aggressively because you have the advantage of both Ignite and Exhaust, rather than just Ignite or Exhaust. So you can kill here. You flash forward here. What you needed to do, I'll speed this up again. Play in slow too. What you need to do is flash forward this way. Because your Yuumi's stunning the swing, right? You need to... Your Yuumi played this correctly, by the way. You needed to flash in and kill this swing. You are really strong. Don't forget, you are Vayne. Your champion is really overpowered. You could have killed the Swain right here if you had flash forward. Flash forward to the side, right? Because Swain is here, you would hear Swain. And then your Rel would be over here, right? So your Rel would be far away. If you had flash forward, you could have killed Swain solo. 2v1. Because your Yuumi is sending everything to Swain as well. So it would have been a 2v1. But because your execution of this play and your mechanics are so poorly done, execution is bad, mechanics, you're not trusting in your mechanics, not trusting in yourself. It resulted in you losing a winning fight. Which also results in, and this is also a result of you not knowing Vayne's damage. If you knew how much damage Vayne could have done, you would win 2v2. This is supposed to be another win. But again, all the 2v2s that I mentioned that should have been won that you lost is because of poor mechanics at that point. And also just poor macro choices. So this game could have been significantly easier. Some of your macro choices are, you definitely will make mistakes because obviously you're not challenger. So some of your macro choices will be wrong in game. However, you need to make up with that with mechanics as well at that point. Whereas if you have really clean macro and your macro choices are always correct, then the only thing you need to work on at that point is mechanics, right? You also need to know your champion's potential and damage. You don't know the limit of Vayne's damage or the maximum potential that she has, as I do. So you're really limiting yourself, losing fights that you should have won. And Fiora's making a play. Okay, you go for wolves. Should be rotating the Fiora. Yes. Yes, this is good. Okay. Honestly, could have rotated her earlier, but this is fine. Killed. You could have killed. Honestly, drop the wolves next time. You see your Fiora is making a play. This is a thing that junglers do in Korea. What challenger junglers do in Korea is that they will drop the camp. For the fight. So taking the wolves was fine. Pathing to it was perfectly okay because your Fiora had taken the mid lane wave, right? The next thing you needed to realize is your Fiora, who's fed, is trying to fight. Trying to do some shit. And you can save her, by the way. Her champions are really strong. And you also have Yuumi who can heal her up. So drop the camp if it looks good. Because honestly it was. You needed to realize that. And you can go win 3v3. 3v3 win. If you had rotated faster. You drop the camp and then you just go and help her out. If, on the other hand, on the flip side, your team is not fed, then leave them. Leave them to die. If they overextend, right? If they're feeding, you leave them to die. If they're fed, fed teammates. Play with them. Or what you could do is, because you're so useless, because you had messed up laning phase really badly, is in the future you could also split as ADC and have, well, you have to group. Have pressure on side in lower elo. This is fine in low elo. Higher elo not so much. Have pressure on side. Getting CS. And then at that point, for team groups. Eventually. And also you group as well at some point. And then you win fights, right? If your team is fed. Whereas on the flip side, if your team is inting, you leave them. If your team is fed, like your Fiora, you help them, right? Because they're fed. You guys were more likely to win the fights because you guys are fed. So there's a lack of understanding kill potential that I'm seeing. And now you're stuck in this really bad spot because you didn't rotate fast enough. And then you die. The Vi comes. Vi's fed. Kills Galleon. Cool. And then she gets caught. And this is all only because your Fiora overextended, which isn't your fault. Fiora overextending, not your fault. Whatever. Not your fault. What is your fault, though, is that you did not rotate fast enough. Rotate faster. Save Fiora. In fight. And then again, execution. Now at that point, have better mechanics. And how do I have better mechanics? Practice. And improve. And learn max potential of your champions. This is all that's your fault. This is not what... Oh, jeez. This is what I listed is your fault. Whatever is in yellow here is not your fault of her overextending. Or of your overextending. So, just be faster. Learn to realize these things. Study more. Be faster if you can. And you really need to work on your mechanics. If there's anything that's hindering you, it's not... It's your wave. It's your macro, tempo and resetting, and then your mechanics. Those are what's hindering you right now. And it's a honestly kind of a miracle you win this with you in this match. But I wouldn't be surprised because based on the scoreboard, you got carried, right? So, but you didn't carry this by any means. This was not your game, and that's a problem because that means you're consistently not performing, which is a problem, which means you're less likely to win games. Yeah, finish shoving the mid spin lane wave, play for dragon, rotate your dragon, rotate to your team, and just play for this dragon. You guys can win fights. You guys can hard win fights. You really have to be closer. You could have honestly been helping them this entire time. Yeah, rotate back mid, that's fine. Loop bottom, that's good, that's fine. Yes. Okay, you guys are looking for a fight. Yes, observe. Care. Straight out. Walk out too far. And then this goes to shit. Here's where you walk out too far. I'll slow it down. Okay, focus roll. Okay, yes. It's fine. Keep focusing well. Okay. And now you queue backwards. Or you queue up here, actually. Because you see Galio. And Rel is going to engage on you. Right? So Rel is going to come this way. You queue this way. Use your Q. Vayne tumble. Galio's coming in this way, so this is where Galio's gonna be at, and you're all stacked up. Even if the fight doesn't go poorly because of the team is messing up, at least you yourself are mechanically performing, right? And then you stay alive in the end. That's what's most important. But now you're too far off, and you're in the front line now. And then you get taunted, and then you get killed. But if you had queued upward, you would be in the back line still. Because the fight had shifted to be like this way, right? The fight went from this way into something more of a sideway. So this is your front, and then this is where you would be, right? So you need to adjust where you're positioning accordingly, and then if your team is okay, whatever, you run, right? Well, like your team is fed that this is a fine fight. It's a big coin flip again because fighting in low elo is coin flip, but I mean, what's most important is your own execution, right? And from what I just saw, your execution, your grade is an F. You're dead, your team loses that fight, and your Vi's still alive. Okay, cool, whatever. Okay, they're going for dragon. Okay, you guys are up. You guys get the wave here. Pressure Baron. Sorry. Did I say dragon earlier? Oh, okay. Yeah, you get a free kill. Stay over the stage. That's cool. Okay, you take a look at this. Just hover it. That's fine. Just be very, very careful. Shove out mid. Revive's coming. And then go Baron, go Baron, go Baron. Go Baron with your team. Honestly, you guys just play really cautiously. Because your whole team rotates on Baron, but in the reality is that you just want Baron control, right? That's more important right now. Because you guys had just gone to pick, so but that's not enough. You need to kill the rest of the enemy team. So you guys want Baron control. The reason why I say to go Baron, and why shoving mid is correct, is because you're creating mid lane pressure to get Baron control. And you don't want to do the Baron right now, you just want to get control of it. Right? Now your team is getting extended with the top. You guys lose this. I'm pretty surprised you guys actually win this game, because at this point it just seems like you guys are getting competitive. There's a trinket. Get it, please. There, yes. Okay, nothing else you can do. Just get the wolves. Get the wolves. Get the wolves. Don't type. Stop typing. Don't type. Get the wolves. Get the crows. Get the red, and then get the krugs. Or you could just go straight for Grump Blue Wolves to reset, and then you guys would have had items too. And you would have stayed in the vicinity of the Baron. And just in case, what is it? That the enemy team goes for jungle too, right? The enemy team wouldn't have any camps to go if you go to it first, while they're still preoccupied on Baron, right? But you're not really getting any gold here. You're chasing for a Gallows gold. Okay. Honestly, you could have been clean execution. You could have killed. You need cleaner execution though. Your Fuhrer is carrying you on the side, that's fine. You go Raptors, yeah. Ping your team to back off there. That's in tank. Yes, good. Good job. Get the red. Get the Krugs. Get the Krugs. Get the Krugs. You really should have pathed accordingly. So if you didn't want Vi to take Raptors, you should have taken Raptors first, into red, into Krugs. Because this way you would have maximized your whole like income of every CS you get. Not to mention, your CS is really low. You should have around like 200 right now. 200, which means you would have missed around 60 CS. Max you have around like 250 right now. 250 to 270. So you're really missing out on a lot of income because you're just playing really poorly and dying a lot, right? And then the important thing is that what I mentioned about going from Raptors into red, into Krugs, is because you clear off the quadrant as well. Right? So this will, by clearing off the entire quadrant, this is a jungle thing, but you have all the camps respawn at the same time. But because you don't do that, you have a messed up quadrant now of camps not respawning at the same time, right? You go mid lane here, that's fine. Play back. Let them give them the tower. There's nothing you can do about it. Perfectly fine. Get the CS. Just relax. Dragon's fine in 30. Just relax. Yeah, good. Position in the back. Yes, good. Good position. Good position. Well, good. Keep going. Good.
Shut down.
That's fine. Okay. Okay, kill. Killable. Okay, you go mid lane. Go mid lane. Oh, you ping your team. You're in no position to ping your team. They're carrying you. Get the bottom lane. That's fine. That's a fine option too. And then you guys just reset. You guys reset, shove out the wave, and reset. And then you go mid lane again. Are you typing? Stop typing. You can get the wave, yeah. Get the wave reset. I think your Fuhrer are extending. Okay, she's doomed, whatever, so that bottom, this is fine. Nothing you can do about the Fuhrer, just shove out bottom and reset. Yes, good. There were better options that you could have done instead, but this is fine. positioning definitely needed to be way better there. You were getting hit by a lot of abilities, and you were just too far up. You should have been able to win this. So this was another issue of execution at that point. And now your Fiora is trying to limit us because you can't carry her instead. So she's trying to carry you by forcing these plays. And then she's dead. How crazy is that? And then your Yumi's also baited to die because of that too. Oh, Wu climbs back. Okay. Good, good. Good call. You get the Galio kill. Just too far up afterwards. Up here. Okay, Galio. Kill him. And then you watch. Stay back here. You Q forward. This was your mistake. You don't Q forward. Do not. Oh, voice crack. Do not Q forward. You don't Q forward here until enemy burns all CC. Crowd control. You save it to dodge abilities, right? But because you Q forward here, Rel sees that she engages on you, you're caught in the middle, you're in the front line, you're mispositioning at that point. Poor mechanics leads to poor mechanics. Poor execution. And then you question your life choices. Because you into this after killing Galio. Killing Galio was good. The rest was you. I mean, there's no way that you keep forward, right? You're chasing. Just play back and auto attack and wait. Save your Q to reposition and dodge abilities and then get top. You're just playing this game really mechanically poorly. And that's a lot of what's hindering you. Your wave management, you can play more aggressively. It's okay enough. It's not good, it's not bad. The main thing is just your mechanics and execution at this point. Your minimap awareness is fine.
Rampage. Blue team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
And then your tempo can be faster. But that's due to the lack of understanding your champion's max potential and having poor mechanics, right? If you had better mechanics, you would be able to walk so much more forward with so much more confidence. Yeah, going mid lane is correct. That's the wave with inhib minions and you clear them fastest. You get as much CS here as possible. Clear it off, there's a round. Be careful. Where's their Yumi? Yumi needs support. Dragon's up in a minute. You guys have to be careful. When you see enemy teammates play on Baron, you can just hover. Wait for your team to do stuff. You don't ever engage yourself for the most part. 9 out of 10 times, you never engage. You're the ADC. You just play back and do damage. And fix waves. Resetting is very yikes here. Unless you're getting Last Whisper, which is fine. You're not getting Last Whisper, what are you doing? Q Assassin is not going to save you at all. All of the reasons why you've been dying isn't, well, it's because of CC, obviously, but all of the reasons that you've been dying is because of poor mechanics. and poor execution, right? So here you build LDR. Or you build Last Whisper, because then you'll do more damage. And getting QSS wouldn't matter, because what's majority of everything that's happened as to why you get caught is because you get caught. And then you get chain CC'd. And this is because of poor positioning and mechanics and then execution. So QSS wouldn't even matter here at this point. Maybe it will save you if you get caught by 1 CC, but if you're chain CC'd like you have been this entire game because of your poor mechanics, QSS is not going to matter. And as my friend Challenger Dravenmain, McDonald's manager, likes to say, personally, QSS shit item. And it's because they nerfed it. Because of Uzi being too good at QSS. So they nerfed it. So because QSS is like so ungodly nerfed, your support gets Mikhail's. Which nullifies CC instead. So instead of you having it, your support has it, especially because your support is an enchanter, and it's because they're enchanters, it's easier for them to build. Items are really good for enchanters this season to build. And then by not building QSS, you have to force yourself to have better mechanics. And this is the underlying factor that was killing you all of this game, is your mechanics are D tier right now. You need to work a lot on your mechanics. Out of anything, it's playing more aggressively. Wave management, macro, yes, those are very important. And however, it seems like you have some idea when to go in, or at least sometimes your team does. I don't know if it's consistent off of, because this is just one game I'm watching of you in forever. So I don't know if your macro is consistent. But it seems like everything as to why everything is failing is because your mechanics are bad as well, right? Even if you're making the right play, or even if I agree that the play that you're making is good, is that you can do them faster, and you can do them cleaner, and you would have higher success of winning games because of that. But because your mechanics are really dog shit right now, that's not going to happen. Right. Moving on. Honestly, it's super late game at this point. You guys want to fight. You guys also have dragon advantage. So you guys can get Baron. Yeah. You guys don't have any vision of dragon, so you guys get dragon. That's perfectly fine. You guys get Baron. This is fine choice. Because you guys delay it a bit. It's perfectly fine as well. It's not like you guys have any gold. You are very down bad in CS, and your fear is trying to limit us again. You shove out this way. We know the entire enemy team is mid and bottom. There was no reason to be scared here. And you're not even shoving out the wave properly, and you're not even resetting for any extra gold or item. You could have bought a red pot, too. If you buy a red pot, it gives you... Red pot is 500 gold, by the way. And it's this late in the game. You buy a red pot for 500 gold. Late game. Red pot gives you 3080, which is a lot. Vamp. So lifesteal, basically, which will keep you alive more. Compare this to a longsword, which is the price of 350 gold for only 1080. You buy a red pot this late in the game, you win a fight, you get 30 AD, and you get lifesteal, more lifesteal, and then you win a fight with your team, and with the red pot boosting your stats, it will be easier to win a fight, and then you guys win a fight this late in the game, late game, ARAM, because fed team, strong team, plus Baron advantage leads to winning the game. That's all you have to do, but I don't know, you have okay enough minimap awareness, but it can be better as well. Everything can be better. I think the main thing is understanding your champion's limits and improving your mechanics. Your wave management, there definitely are issues and it can be better, but it's good enough. From here, it's just mechanics. You really just need to work on your mechanics and play more aggressive game lane and having pressure up. Your team pretty much is carrying you right now. Mimicking your technical out. But okay, so for LeBlanc guys, and then your Vayne, so you see the shot. But play that fair. Wait, you're carry, literally. Also, well, just you have no damage, right? Just being first QSS. Did the QSS save you at all? No, you got CC. The reason why is because you got chain CC, it's because you missed position. If you had LDR instead and you had better mechanics and better positioning, you kill all of them, right? You kill all of them yourself and you carry the game instead of getting carried. And then you win this game because of that. You win this game anyway because your team carries you, but if you had LDR instead, you win the game because you carried. The important thing that we need to get down is that we need to change the games from you getting carried.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Into you carrying the games.
Red team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Because in a few games that I've seen from you in the past, and even in this game right now, this is what's happening, is that you're getting carried every single time I watch your games. I never see a game where you actually carry yourself. And that's the problem. Because this means that this is inconsistent, and that you're not going to win games. But at this point, your team just carries you, and then you guys just win by getting carried. Speed up, whatever. Go mid. Win the fight. Then you poor execution, but your team literally carries you. Even sped up. I saw you literally in the front line, face checking everything and getting CT. QSS does not matter at that point, and you even had stop loss, and you still messed it up. So there's a lot of issues that you need to fix. Most importantly, I'm gonna write it all out here again, is that you need to... Your main issues that I'm going to list, in my opinion, is improvement checklist. Hold on. Is to play more aggressively. Learn champion's limits. Or not limits, but max potential. Improve mechanics. And execution. This will go in a very long run. You also a bit more on the niche and well, obviously macro, wave management. Macro, pressure, vision. Your positioning goes with mechanics and execution as well. What else? Board placement was a pretty big one that I kept critiquing you on. Higher CS count. And then the last one is just minimap awareness. You have a decent enough minimap awareness, but it can still be better, right? So I'm just gonna put this one at the bottom instead. Oh, pin is going crazy. Minimap awareness. There we go. So these are all the major things that you really need to improve on, is playing more aggressively, learning your champion's maximum potential, and then from there you have to improve your mechanics and your execution, which will also improve your positioning as to where you need to like stand in game, right? Where you're mouse clicking your champion to be. Because a lot of your issues in that game was just literally poor mechanics. You had like a decent amount of times where you made the right decisions as to when to go in. It's just that you don't trust yourself enough. You need to trust yourself. Trust yourself and improve. You need to trust yourself to work harder and to improve. And in this way, your in-game play will become better. And then from there, you obviously wave management, macro pressure. It was okay enough. It wasn't like diamond material just yet. It was like obviously platinum material, but you can definitely improve wave management, and from there it will help you with improving wave management will give you better macro and better pressure in game, which will then allow you more opportunities to limit tasks while making the right calls. Which in turn leads to improving mechanics, which will really help out in the long run. Right? So that's wave management. Board placement, which is better vision. Higher CS count, get items sooner. Items, power spikes sooner. Because on Vayne especially, or like every single ADC, is very item dependent. Because items are how ADCs do damage, right? So on Vayne specifically, minimap awareness, it's fine. Or like just improve it. Just look at your minimap more and think about how much more aggressive you can play with minimap. But going on, I'm gonna talk about items and item power spikes on Vayne specifically as I'm closing this off. So for Vayne items power spikes, the first item is your mythic, right? Which will be either Kraken or Shield Bow, right? depending on the build you do, and depending on the enemy composition. But like 7 times out of 10 you'll go Kraken, and then 3 times out of 10 it's shield bow, personally, for me at least. For some other people it may be flipped, can be flipped, but personally for me, 7 out of times I will go Kraken, and then 7 out of 10 times I'll go Kraken, 3 out of 10 times I'll go shield bow. Then what else is there? Second item, if you're going Kraken, I personally really like Guinsoo's, right? Guinsoo's is a very strong power spike. Because this allows you to proc passive, Vayne passive, Vayne W passive. Plus increased attack speed. So Guinsoo's is a very strong power spike. That's why I prefer going it second compared to a lot of players. You could go PD. It's perfectly fine. If you go Guinsoo's, you have variations from there, which are, let me erase all of this real quick. If you go Guinsoo's, you have my options. Which will lead to either Orc into LDR, into defensive, which is typically GA, or you have the other build, which is Phantom Dancer into Bloodthirster or LDR, BT, LDR into defense. This is a build that Reckles really loves going. I saw a couple like weeks ago he was spamming Vayne, and this was the build that he was going. Or you have the general crit build, which is Guinsoo's, you have a tank option depending on your choice, which can go for Randuin's if you're a madman like me, into like Spirit Visage, or depending on composition, like Force of Nature. It depends on like if they have AP or AD, or more AP or more AD, whoever's more fed at the time, right? And then you can also do like Randuin's, you have GA for options. So you can build all of these, and this is the tank Vayne build. This is my build. And then this is what Reckles likes going. And then you have other options, like if you go PD instead, right? Oh. If you go Phantom Dancer, then you have the option of Reckles' build. Or you can do like alterations. You also have the option of like Witsen, right? Although it got nerfed this patch, it's still pretty good. It's not bad. Still build Witsen, it's okay. It's an option. It's a choice that you have that you can make. If you go PD first, you have Reckless's build, or you have crit Vayne build. Which is PD into IE into LDR, right? Into defense. That's typically the main Vayne builds that you have. And then if you go, you could also, if you're considering shield bow Vayne, then you have right now, at least in patch 11.16 versus patch 11.17, you had shield bow to Wit's End into Quinsu's into like possibly you had many different options here. You had board, you had LDR, you had PT, and then defense, right? But then in patch 11.17, because of the Wit's End nerf early game, you preferred shield bow into Guinsu's. At least this is what I believe is correct, and then Wit's End, right? And then the same items from here to here. So these are your build options really on Vayne. Just test them all out. Try them all out on all kinds of comps. Think about what items are the best for certain scenarios, what builds. I listed out the builds you can try. Learn your limits on your champion, and then improve on the checklist that I had written out. I would advise you to screenshot it, Digii, and then just look at it and just keep playing and keep improving. You know, you're fine. You can do it. I believe in you. You just need to carry the games now instead of being carried, you know? There's a lot that needs to be worked on, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. So yeah.